There was a monk who wrote his wishes on a leaf and placed it in the river. He did not watch where it drifted or wait for it to return. He simply bowed his head and walked away. Years later, the answer to his prayer arrived, not in the form he expected, but in the moment he no longer needed it. Because what you release with stillness often circles back in silence. Are you holding on so tightly to your desire that you're unknowingly pushing it away? Most people believe that the more they think about it, the faster it will come. But the truth is that energy often sends the opposite signal. In this video, you'll discover why letting go, calmly, quietly, and consciously, is the final act of alignment that allows your manifestation to arrive. We'll explore the unseen power of surrender and how the field responds only when you stop chasing. Because the moment you release the outcome is often the moment it begins to form. A man once released a lantern into the night sky. He watched it rise, not with grief, but with peace, for he knew its light would travel further than his hands could carry it. So it is with desire. Letting go is not abandonment. It is alignment with trust, with timing, with the natural rhythm of manifestation. Many think that if they stop holding on, they will lose the dream. But the very act of clinging tells the field, "I do not believe it is mine." It sends a message of lack, not confidence. In silent manifestation, you communicate not with effort, but with energy. And energy obeys belief, not struggle. When you let go, you are not saying goodbye. You are saying, "I trust." To let go is to allow. It is to step back and let the form emerge without needing to supervise it. This is not passive, it is powerful. Because in that space of detachment, you create room for the desire to breathe, to move, to find you. And when you hold the vibration of wholeness, your desire begins to reflect that wholeness back. So feel this deeply. Letting go is not losing control. It is releasing resistance. It is choosing energetic alignment over emotional clenching. When you release the need to force it, you signal to the field, it is already done. And from that still place, the journey continues into deeper trust. A hand that grips too tightly cannot receive. It is closed, bound. And the same is true of desire. When you cling to it with desperation, you shut the door to its arrival. You are saying to the field, "I don't trust this will come unless I hold it." But trust is the vibration that draws it in. The more you watch the clock, the longer the wait feels. The more you grasp at outcomes, the more resistance you create. Vibration frequency is delicate. It responds to emotion, not intention. When your frequency is laced with fear, urgency, or doubt, you distort the signal. The timeline slows not because it isn't real, but because you're jamming the channel. Imagine pouring a drink into a trembling cup. No matter how full the pitcher is, you'll spill more than you catch. Your field is the same. If your energy is braced, obsessed, or tense, the abundance meant for you slips through. Stillness receives, certainty invites. The one who no longer watches the door is the one who hears the knock. So the question is not, how long will it take? The question is, how steady am I in the waiting? Because the moment your grip softens, your field clears. And as the field clears, the form begins to shape. Not because you made it happen, but because you finally allowed it to arrive. A painter must let the canvas dry. If she touches it too soon, the image smears, blurs, and loses its form. So it is with manifestation. You set your intention, tune your state, and then you must let it settle. But many keep interrupting the field with doubt, with checking, with questions, and the signal never has time to stabilize. Every time you ask again, you subtly say, "It hasn't happened yet." Every time you look for proof, you broadcast lack. This is why quantum detachment is vital. It is the art of sending your creation out into the field and then stepping back in faith. The more you interfere, the more the process unravels. But when you trust, the energy holds. You are not being ignored. You are interrupting your own signal. Think of it like a radio. Tuning the dial over and over breaks the connection. You must find your frequency and stay there. Let the transmission complete. The more you meddle, the more incoherence you create. But in detachment, your broadcast becomes steady, clear, true. So let the desire breathe. Let it bloom without digging up the soil. When you plant a seed, you don't return every hour to see if it's sprouting. You water, you trust, and you walk away. Let your manifestation rest in that same sacred space. And watch what grows when you finally stop touching it. A lighthouse does not dim its light because ships haven't yet appeared. It stays lit, steady, unwavering, because it knows they will come. Your energy must be the same. You are the signal, and the world is the response. But if your light flickers every time you don't see results, you send mixed messages to the sea. This is where energetic alignment becomes a discipline. You must hold the state even when the evidence hasn't arrived. Especially then. The universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you sustain. When you remain in alignment without proof, you become magnetic, because you are no longer trying to create, you are already living it. Every time you shift into doubt, you interrupt your timeline. It's like hitting reset on a download just before it completes. Trust is not passive, it is precision. It is choosing moment by moment to return to the state of fulfillment, to breathe as the version of you who knows it's already unfolding. That is the frequency that forms listen to. So practice steadiness, not perfection, but return. You don't need to hold it perfectly, only consistently. Let your stillness speak louder than your need. And the moment you can rest in the vibration without looking for signs is the moment the universe begins to whisper back. A deer steps gently into a clearing, not because it was hunted, but because the forest grew still. So too does your desire arrive, not when you chase, but when you become a space it wants to enter. Chasing implies distance. It says, "It's not mine yet," but stillness says, "It is welcome now." This is the heart of silent manifestation. Most people try to earn their desires. They hustle for it, visualize harder, obsess longer. But in doing so, they forget. The field does not respond to movement. It responds to presence. The more you try to outrun lack, the more lack defines your signal. But when you rest, when you open, the form begins to seek you. Desire, like water, flows to the lowest, stillest place. Not because it's weak, but because it's responsive. You don't need to prove your worth to the universe. You only need to become receptive. Let the energy shape around you. Let your being call it home. In that space of quiet certainty, you become the answer you were chasing. So pause the pursuit. Stop measuring the distance. Instead, embody the moment where it has already arrived. When you stop chasing, your vibration becomes a beacon. And in that clarity, the timeline you've been running toward begins walking to meet you. A bird doesn't plan every gust of wind. It opens its wings and trusts the current. Surrender is not passivity. It is partnership. It is the quiet decision to stop managing the how and return to the now. When you release the need to control, you're not giving up your dream. You're giving up your resistance to it. To trust the universe is to recognize a greater intelligence already at work. Your desire didn't come from nowhere. It came through you because it's possible for you. The moment you stop gripping the outcome, you make space for that intelligence to move. Surrender says, "I've done my part." And the field, receiving that cue, does the rest. Many equate surrender with laziness or delay. But in truth, it is the most refined state of alignment. It requires strength to let go, to stop interfering, to believe without proof. When you surrender, you don't abandon the desire. You align with its inevitability. You become the one who already knows it's on the way. So hold yourself not with force, but with faith. Lean into your inner knowing. Choose stillness, not because you have no choice, but because you trust the unfolding. And in that trust, you'll find that the moment you surrender is often the moment everything starts to arrive. A leaf does not decide where the river flows. It surrenders and is carried. Yet in that surrender, it reaches places effort never could. This is the image of true alignment. When you stop fighting the flow, you don't drift aimlessly. You are guided. You are lifted by the same current that shaped the desire within you. Many believe that to align means to do more, think harder, or visualize better. But energetic alignment is far more elegant. It is the art of letting go without collapse. It is choosing soft focus, gentle breath, and the knowing that your vibration already matches the outcome. In this space, life begins to organize itself around you. When you float, not passively but purposefully, your energy becomes lighter, clearer, more magnetic. You're no longer braced for disappointment. You're open to the inevitable. You aren't sending mixed signals. You're radiating calm certainty. And in that state, reality responds faster, not slower. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to be carried, not chased? What if alignment isn't about effort at all, but about surrendering to the part of you that already knows the way? Rest in that feeling. Let the current hold you. And as you release tension, notice how your signal begins to sharpen. A string pulled too tight will snap, while one with gentle tension can vibrate with perfect sound. So it is with your energy. Attachment is not love. It is fear disguised as need. The more tightly you grip the outcome, the more distortion you create. But when you detach, you invite harmony. You allow the field to respond in clarity. When you're overly attached to a specific form or timeline, you introduce pressure into your signal. And pressure creates static. It says this must happen, or I am incomplete. But quantum detachment is the opposite. It's the art of choosing your state regardless of appearances. When you release the need, your coherence returns, and the field mirrors that stability. Coherence is alignment without demand. You still hold the vision, but not with desperation. You carry it lightly, like a whisper beneath your breath, trusting it is already weaving its way into form. This is the essence of silent manifestation, a steady inner hum, not a shouted desire. A vibration so consistent, it moves mountains without moving at all. So begin to notice. Where are you tensing, gripping, needing? Where can you soften, release, return to stillness? The less static you carry, the clearer your transmission becomes, and as your coherence strengthens, the field has no choice but to echo that back to you. A candle isn't blown out once the wish is made. It's released into the unknown, trusted to find its way. Letting go is that final breath, the moment your desire leaves your hands and becomes a message to the universe. It is already done. It is not surrender in defeat. It is surrender in completion. Most people believe they must hold on until it arrives, but holding on is often the very thing that delays it. In silent manifestation, release is the closing signature on the vibrational message you've been sending. It says to the field, I no longer need to chase this. I am it. That clarity accelerates everything. When you feel peace without the physical evidence, you become the evidence. The field reads your serenity as truth. No proof needed, no more effort, just alignment. You've stepped out of the timeline of waiting and into the timeline of receiving. And in that energetic certainty, the outer form begins to take shape. So let the desire go like a bird taking flight, not lost, but liberated. Trust that it knows where to land. Trust that your vibration is enough to call it home. For the moment you truly release is the moment the universe begins to respond in kind. So now I ask you, where in your life are you gripping too tightly? What desire have you been chasing instead of inviting? What would happen if today you chose to let it go? Not in fear, but in faith. Let me know in the comments. What are you ready to release so that it may return? Your surrender might just become someone else's reflection. If this message spoke to your inner knowing, please like this video, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next part in this silent journey. Until then, trust the unfolding.